What's up, y'all? What's up? What is up, you guys? Apostle T here. Coming back on with another word, you guys. As you guys can see now, it is quiet here where I can actually sit out on my patio and enjoy the weather. It's gloomy here. It definitely looks like when it starts raining, it is going to start pouring. The topic that God wanted me to spit that out. Spit it out. Hold on, y'all. The topic that God wants me to discuss today is going to be God is blocking it. That is going to be our I have all this dog hair on me, y'all. That is going to be our topic for today, but today is the first time that I've actually had a chance to sit down on my patio and just enjoy the quietness. I was telling God earlier this week, as I was praying, I was just thanking him for just living in such a peace-filled place. Living in such a peace-filled place. It's kind of like when you go without something. It makes you even more grateful when you do get it. Hey, Miss Allen, blessings to you. And so, as today has just been kind of progressing, God gave me the word. God blocked it. I'm doing pretty good. God is blocking it. And the thing that he's blocking, it's not your blessings or anything like that. But in this season, God is blocking what the enemy wants to do. I'm going to say it again. In this season, God is blocking what the devil really wants to do. So I told you guys on the last broadcast, we talked a lot about boundaries. We talked about letting our no's be a firm no. And so at the time after that broadcast, I took my dogs out, different things like that. But I found myself getting into a state of mind where I was preparing to go and help my mom. I'm going to get me some water. And I can't explain it, but I just started to feel a little bit irritable about it. And not even irritable, but something just was not sitting right in my spirit. Needless to say, my nephew calls me, and this is where the revelation stemmed from. Excuse me, y'all. My nephew calls me, and what he says to me is, he says, he said that he was with my mom and that they were heading to the U-Haul place. And so I'm like, okay, y'all already got it online. Needless to say, long story short, my mother just did not listen to what I had to say. I told her to do it online so she didn't waste her gas. Long story short, nowhere had any available like U-Hauls. And as I was talking to my nephew when they were at the U-Haul place, he let this slip. He said, she wants us to go get her washer and then go to my uncle's house to get a large piece of furniture. And y'all, I'm going to tell y'all something. I was so very irritated because I knew that it was the devil. I was irritated, as I feel anyone would be, by being blindsided, because my mindset was, my mother only said she wanted to go and pick up her washer. She didn't say nothing about no other type of furniture. And I was upset because I'm like, this is going to take all day, because you have to drive to get the U-Haul, drive to another city to get your washer, drive on the other side of town, which is about 30 minutes away, go and pick up whatever piece of furniture, then drive back 20 minutes back to your house, unload it all. And so at this point, I'm feeling some kind of way about it. And I was feeling some kind of way because I felt like I knew it was the devil. And I knew that my mother was being, it was right what we talked about. She was just saying, well, since you are already here, we gonna do X, Y, and Z. Didn't ask about, what I had to do. Didn't ask about what my nephew had. Did not care. And so I was frustrated. And I said, Lord, what do I do? Because it made me not want to do anything at all. Just be real. I agreed to do one thing, and now you tack on another hour or so with doing other things. I ain't doing it. I am not doing it. So I prayed, hey, Natasha, I said, Lord, what do you want me to do? Because I was very frustrated at this point. I said, what do you want me to do? God said two things. God said, number one, it won't be a U-Haul available. And number two, I want you to reiterate your boundary. And so what I did was I said, listen, I didn't know you were trying to go to my uncle's house to get some more stuff. I said, so I can help you with the washer, but with everything else, blessings to you, Miss Sherry. I said, but with everything else, I may not be able to do it. I have things that I already had planned for this day. Shortly after I responded, she writes me and she says, well, thanks anyway. It was rescheduled. And so as I was seeking God, I immediately felt peace. But as I was seeking God, the Lord said, all I did was block what the devil was trying to do by frustrating you, by making you, I pray that I'm making sense, by frustrating you. I was blocking what he was trying to do by making you, lower whatever the boundaries are that you're setting in place. But God said, this is a prime example of to just what degree my children will be untouchable in this season. I'm going to say it again. So pretty much in a nutshell, the enemy has been working through my mom when it revolves around picking up furniture. Like I've had to put in boundaries. For those of you guys that have not been following along, boundaries are just saying, I'm not going to run myself into the ground. I'm not doing, all the work. I'm not doing it. And so what I've seen the past few days is the enemy coming through my mother to try and get me to lower that boundary or lower my guard to where I allow her to just do whatever. It's a form of control. And so, needless to say, today was one of those days where it's like right when it was time to start getting things, it's like God just began to expose. She had plans for the entire day, and all I knew about was one thing. So it was pretty much, if I trap you here to get this one item, if I trap you here to get this one item, you're going to feel obligated to do everything else. And what was so crazy is that my nephew said, I thought you knew about going to our uncle's house. I said, I had no idea. She said nothing about going to our uncle's house. She just said she wanted to get her washer. So how is it that my nephew knows, but you're telling me, oh, I just need help getting the washer? And it was so strategically crafted that she told my nephew, well, if she don't come, it's just going to be me and you. If she don't come, it's just going to be me and you. She was saying her and my nephew. And right when I was feeling like perplexed, like, God, what do I do in a situation like this? Because it's like in moments like that, you really have to pray, God, what does like my response need to be? Absolutely. Please don't allow any parent to. Absolutely. Absolutely. But my prayer, because I was so frustrated, is, okay, I already agreed to help her with this washer. But how do I implement this boundary into saying, listen, I'm not going to run myself thin. I'm doing exactly what I told you to do. You don't get to dictate what my entire day, what my entire afternoon is going to look like. You don't get to tell me that I have to drop everything that I have to do. Now, had you asked, had you been honest, that would have been an entirely different thing. And so, like, this was so prophetic for me because in the past season, like, that was the main thing that, like, I dealt with. Feeling drained, feeling just run thin, overextending myself to the point where, like, I almost gave up. And I don't blame other people because I take some of that blame as well because I allowed it. And so as I've been in this season, it's been a very, very busy week of just me ripping and running, doing so much. It's been so much to do this week. On the day where I'm like, okay, I can kind of just chill a little bit, this happens. And so it's like, when I talk to God about it, and that's why that boundary is in place. God says I need to share this. My mother growing up, because I lost my father, she would use that death against me. She would say, things like, you only get one mama. Sometimes she would hint at being the last living parent, different things. And it's like it was a trigger response. And for a while, it worked. I would do whatever my mom wanted me to do, even if I didn't want to do it. And even if I was tired, and I would put myself in positions, that I really didn't have to be in. I had a choice. But it was all because I didn't have those boundaries. And so she took it and she ran with it. And so like in this season, I told God entering into this season that I would not put myself in a position where I overextended myself, but that I would pay attention in this season to how I feel, because I'm human. If I'm tired, if I'm worn down, if I just don't have the energy, not to overdo it in that season. I pray that I'm making sense. And so, this was how I knew that it was the devil, because it's been a very busy week. Personal things going on, as well as like things within the ministry. And so it's like the moment I say no to something, it's like that's what the devil does. It's like if you resist the devil, he tries so many different tactics to get you to cave in, however it is that he wants you to cave in. So spiritually looking at that situation today, it was literally the devil saying, okay, you stood your ground to your mama and you pretty much told her, you were not going to do all the work, meaning you were not going to be the one making all the calls, setting up stuff. You didn't have the time. And that was really what I told her. I don't have the time, and I don't. And it's things that she can do. It's nothing that's too difficult. These are things that she can do. And so me, putting that boundary, saying, this is your stuff. I'm not doing all the work. Now I will help you. But as far as the calls and the communication, you need to set that up. I don't want nothing to do with that. And so then today she messages me and she says it. The devil speaks it through her in a different way. Instead of flat out asking me to do all the work, now is please collaborate with your nephew and, call him, I'll set it up. It's the same thing, phrased a different way. When we think about what the devil does, it is the same thing. He does the same things and he rephrases it a different way. He represents the same kind of attack a different way. That is what he does. And the moment I say no to that, not all of a sudden, now God is exposing, it was more than what she told you it was. But she told you it was one thing. Everybody knew that it was more things that she wanted to get done but you. I pray I'm making sense. And so, I think the frustration and the pressure that I felt like the devil is trying me to the degree where I almost want to snap out and say, stop playing with me. Stop. But I didn't. I prayed. And it's like in that moment of praying, God told me what it was going to be. And he confirmed that things were exactly what he said. But the revelation that God gave me was that in this season, he's blocking us from he's blocking the devil from doing whatever it is that he did in the old seasons. He's blocking every attempt of the enemy to delay us, to wear us out, to make us, fall into a pit that he's dug for us. Whatever it is God is saying in this season, he's blocking it. Now, this is not talking about, God blocking jobs or blocking different things that you're pursuing. This is not what this word is about. It's about God saying, I'm blocking what the devil is trying to do in this season. And the reason why God is blocking things is so that we can get all that this season has for us, so that we can stay on the right path, so that we can receive all the blessings that many of us, we've gone through the storm for these blessings. Yeah. We've endured for these blessings, for this harvest. And so it's God's way of saying, I'm ensuring that this season is smooth sailing, that the blessings come without a toil, that progress is made, without opposition. And so it's like as we see God block whatever it is that the enemy is doing, it doesn't mean that we won't see what the devil is doing. But what it just means is even though we see what the devil is doing, we will also see God put an end to whatever the devil is doing. And notice, I didn't try to fight that battle myself. I didn't go back and forth. I just reasserted what my boundary was. I'm not doing all the work, and I'm not ripping and running all over town when you told me it was just one thing. And that's what God is calling us to do in this season. Stick to the script, stand your ground, Stay focused on whatever it is that God has you doing in this season, and God will do the rest. God will do the rest. But I didn't go back and forth with my mom. I didn't snap out. I didn't do any of that. I didn't even, confront her. I just said, listen, I just thought it was the washer. I can't do all that other stuff. And God handled the rest. And so that was what he wanted me to release. He's blocking it. He's blocking it. And rightfully so. I don't know about y'all, but that last season, it literally almost took me out because of the amount of warfare, because of the amount of things that I was having to endure, circumstantial things, emotional things, spiritual things. It almost took me out. And so to see God say, I'm not going to let the devil do that to you in this season, it's a very rewarding thing. It's like one of those feelings where you just kind of feel like I can breathe. I don't have the energy to fight the devil in this season. It's like I feel like, God, either I have the energy to pursue what you're telling me to pursue, or I'm going to fight the devil, but I can't do both. I'm human. I cannot do both. And so in a sense, it's God helping us get to the next level, if that makes sense. And so God is blocking it. Whatever it is that the devil is trying to do, whatever it is that he has been attempting to do, God is just simply saying, don't be fazed, because it won't come nigh you. And just as quickly as we see the weapons form, the stress and anxiety, hey, Mrs. Edna, it's so good to see you. The stress and anxiety is not worth it. It's just not. You're absolutely correct, Natasha. And so that was what happened. And that was the revelation that God gave me. In this season, God is not allowing the devil to do what he did in previous seasons. He's not allowing it. So it's like we may see it, but just as quickly as we see it, will be as quickly as God blocks it. And even now, I don't know if y'all have seen when people are playing basketball, and I don't know if y'all have ever seen somebody shoot a shot and then somebody else just smacks the ball out. They just smacks the ball away before it can even enter into the goal. They pack the ball. Anybody ever seen that? Whether we really don't see that in the NBA. But has anybody ever seen that? Maybe watching a high school game or something like that, or even street ball, where you playing basketball and somebody just shoots that shot and they just know it's about to go in. They not, listen, they ain't even looking at who's guarding the goal. They just shot. And then before you know it, out of nowhere, somebody jumps in the air and says, pop, not today. That's literally what God is doing to the devil. It's like the enemy is shooting shots. Okay, he's throwing those fiery darts. And every single time he shoots it, right as he think it's about to manifest, whatever the weapon is, God is like, pop, not today. Not today. I'm blocking it. I'm blocking it. You won't even get close to making a shot in this season. And so that is the revelation, y'all. That is it. God is blocking it. That's literally what I see in the spiritual realm. It's like the enemy shooting shots to delay us, to trip us up, to make us respond out of character, to distract us. And it's like every single shot that he's taking, it's like God is saying, pop, smack, 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 smack. Not today, devil. And so take that however it resonates. And I think, knowing that God is operating like that in this season, it makes it a lot easier for us to fearlessly pursue what God needs us to pursue in this hour. It's making it easy for us to fearlessly pursue, fearlessly walk into what God has for us in this season. Because it's like when you know that God is handling your lightweight, when you know that God is taking care of things, it's like we don't even really have the need to even look back over our shoulders to see what the devil is doing. Because God is literally handling it as it comes. And so that is the word. Listen, smacks it until the white meat shows. Hello, Natasha. Hello. You better say it. You better say it. And so that is it, y'all. If you can receive this, can you just tell God thank you? If you can receive it, can you just tell God thank you? That is it. Listen, to those of you guys that feel led to sow seed into this word, the seed title is God blocked it. The seed title is God blocked it. That is the seed title. God blocked it. I'm going to say it again. God blocked it. Because in this season, he's blocking whatever the devil is trying to do. And so that is it, y'all. That is it. Listen, y'all, right now with our goal, we are at 175. That is what I need to get the rent paid for in full. That is our goal, 175. Whatever else is sown beyond that is probably going to go towards like water and food, food like groceries, just stuff to actually get so that I don't have to go out and get food. And so, listen, God is blocking it. And so for those of y'all that are sowing, that is where the money is going to. Even if you say, Apostle, I just want to sow seed into the goal, that you absolutely can do that. You absolutely can do that. I ask that if you're sowing seed into the goal, that you just label it paid in full. But right now where we are is 175. I'm believing that we get it paid for in full on today. I'm like, God, earlier this week we started off and I think I needed like 600. And like now we're already down into the ones. And so I'm grateful for those of you guys that have sown seed into my life, into the ministry. I'm grateful for, all of you guys that have purchased products. Some of you guys, that's where some of the funds have come from. Mentoring sessions, selling t-shirts, hoodies. And so that is where we are. The ways to sow are in the description of every single video on here. Can someone type that goal in? But that is the goal, 175. And so no matter what you sow, whether it's 5, whether it's 10, whether it's 100, whether it's 70, you let God lead you. And even if you don't sow, it has nothing to do with me pouring into you guys or the words that God has me bringing in. So that is it, y'all. I love y'all. I am rooting for you guys. Again, our goal for today is 175. And so that is it, y'all. Thank you so much, Miss Allen. That is it. Once we meet it, I will let you guys know where we are. I do feel led to say this. Don't sit around if you know that like you want to sow. Don't sit around and just wait for me to get down to the nitty gritty where it's like the last few hours and don't wait to see what everybody else sows before you sow what you're going to sow. If you're going to sow exactly what God tells you to sow, nothing more and nothing less. And so that is it. Hold on one second because I believe a seat just came in and I want to let you guys know where we are. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm back. It is for rent. I do need food. I do need water, but it's for rent. 175 is the goal. That is what I need to pay the rent, which is the most important thing to me right now. Because I don't want a late fee. And so that is where we are with that. I'm sorry, I had to exit off and come back on. But 175 is what I need for rent. I'm not worried about food. I know other people may put food as a priority. But right now, I want to get rent taken care of. And I can get food whenever. That's how I feel about that. I can do, I can go and get that once that is done. But my main goal is to go ahead and get the rent taken care of. And so I just feel led to say that if you know that you want to sow, that is in your heart to sow, like don't wait until the very last minute. Because what if God waited until the very last minute, to see everything else that happened before he stepped into your situation, and so I always tell people that when people come to me, if I have it, I give it. That is just how it is. I believe more money is coming in, but we're at 165 right now. I'll have to exit off to see exactly where we are, but I do know that when I checked it back a few minutes ago, the goal was 165. And so that is it. I'm going to check it one more time. Okay, y'all, sorry. That's the last time I'm going to check it. But the goal is 160. That is where our goal is right now, 160. And that will get us everything that we need. And so as funds come in, I will let you guys know. But 160 is where we are. It's what we need to just get it paid for in full. And so I love y'all. I'm rooting for you guys. And so until next time, y'all, peace.